TalkZone.com.
Usually, when you hear an attorney and an athlete working together, either the athlete is in trouble with the law or involved in a contentious contract negotiation. I'm attorney David Spada, here with former Chicago Bear Robin Earl, and that's not the case here. You're listening to Barely Legal. Let me brief you on what Barely Legal is about. For the next hour, Rob and I will talk sports, interview current and former professional athletes, and tackle the hot legal issues affecting athletes. And now, Barely Legal.
It's that time of the week again, sports fans, and you are listening to the Barely Legal Show here on 670thescore.com. I'm Robin Earl, former fullback and tight end for your Chicago Bears, and joining me in studio today is my co-host and partner in crime, attorney David Spada, and making his first ever appearance with us in studio at TalkZone.com is our guy, Mr. Inside the NFL reporter, Andy Masonev. Welcome to the show today, Andy.
Thank you.
And today, guys, is a huge milestone for the Barely Legal Show. We have been now at this for one full year. I can't believe how time flies, but if you really enjoy what you do, time doesn't really matter. But more importantly, this Sunday, November 1st, marks the 10th anniversary of the passing of Walter Payton. So we are dedicating this 2-hour show to the greatest player ever to put on a Bears uniform and arguably the greatest running back ever to play in the National Football League. But let's first thank our sponsors who keep us on the air each week, and they are Stewart's Coffee, Spada Law Offices, Bolingbrook Country Club, our new sponsor, Rockford Charitable Games, and the great Chicago team from Liberty International, our new WOW mobile wireless that is definitely creating a revolution in the cell phone industry. And as usual, and always, a special thanks go out the guy behind the glass there, Mr. Dave Olson, who really keeps us moving here at TalkZone.com. Guys, let me tell you something. We have got one heck of a show today. We got to go 2 hours, Dave. This will be the first time we've ever gone 2 hours.
Are you in shape for this, Robin?
Man, I hope so. I've been working on these vocal cords all day here. So anyway, we've got quite a list here, and I'll just briefly go through it as we bring on Jared. We got Dan Neal, former player, Coach Johnny Roland, Bruce Herron, Eddie Payton, Steve McMichael, Bobby Douglas, Jim Morrissey. We may even hear from a Bob Avellini and a couple other guys that might be calling in. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. We're just going to talk some great memories, reminisce a little bit about Walter's life and what he meant to us and so forth. But let's bring on a guy that's probably closer than any one of us could ever think and imagine will be. And, of course, that's Jarrett Payton. How you doing, Jarrett?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing fantastic. Hey, thanks for joining us, and I guess we got to thank Andy here to my left here to bring you on. We're hoping to have you in studio, but that's okay. As long as we got you on the phone and we can chat with you a little bit, every little bit we have with you, always enjoyed it.
Hey, I'm glad Andy and I have been going back and forth the last couple of days.
How you been, Jarrett?
I'm doing good, guys. Man, just woke up and looking at emails today, and it's been a crazy month so far. But November 1st is on its way here, and everybody today, all the Twittering that I've been doing, and everybody's just like, does it seem like 10 years? And it does seem like yesterday, but also with everything that's gone on in the last 10 years, with everything that we've done and the family's done, I've done myself. Now it's starting to feel like 10 years because there's a lot of stuff that's gone on in that time.
Jarrett, David Spada, what is the number one thing he taught you?
I think it was hard work, never giving up, and hard work. Always just, if you want something, you have to work towards it, and there's always going to be some bumps in the road, but, you have to find your way to maneuver around those things and just always work hard. And that was just his motto. We all know that he was just the hardest worker out there. Like, he didn't probably have all the God-given abilities that some other guys had, but he worked towards to making himself a lot better, and that's why he's considered the best.
Jared, of course, Walter was your father was such a huge impact in my life. In fact, the most prized possession I have in my home and on my gallery, my wall of shame, so to speak, but is a picture of you and your dad on the front cover of TV magazine. That meant so much to me, and I was so giddyish when I got drafted by the Bears, because I knew that if I was a big fullback here and have a guy like your dad playing behind me, man, what a thrill that was. It was just absolutely awesome.
Makes your job, he makes everybody's job who's playing with him a lot easier, you know?
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Robin was the reason your dad ran for those 275 yards. He was his fullback that day.
Yeah, it was. That was my second NFL start that day, and Jarrett, I'll tell you a quick little story here. The first play of the game, we called this, it was kind of an offset pro set. We called it Brown formation. I was obviously directly behind the quarterback. Walter was to my left. And we called a play called Ride 38 Bob Odd O. And it's kind of a mouthful, but, both guards are pulling, and I'm the fullback leading around the corner. And I'll never forget that. Of course, we got Reevy Sori and Noah Jackson rolling around the corner, myself being about 255. My guards are 280 plus, this mass humanity going around right in. And I'll never forget the cornerback, Paul Krause, for the Vikings. He just absolutely, his eyes lit up like saucers, because I took him back. I got under his pads, and I rode him all the way to the moat. Remember that little moat that we used to have at Soldier Field? And we got back in the huddle, and I looked into Reevy's eyes, I looked into Noah's eyes, and they go, all day long, baby. Let's give it to Wally. Let's give it to Wally, baby. Here we go.
You did not call him Wally, though.
They got away with it. They did. But anyway, it was an awesome day, and I can't believe you ran for 275. Absolutely.
Jarrett, so what are you, it's Andy here, what are you doing with yourself these days?
Well, I tell everybody who asks me that, a little bit of everything. Not only is, help running the family foundation, the Walter County Payton Foundation. We work with BCFS here in Illinois, and we provide Christmas for underprivileged and neglect kids. And last year, almost provided around 60,000 gifts, and also too back to school drives and a lot of other things. I have my own businesses that I'm getting into, trying to figure things out, and still not giving up the idea of playing football. But as of right now, there's other things that are important. So I'm glad I'm home. I'm actually supposed to be in Toronto, but I asked for my release, and it's kind of a good thing. Things happen for a reason, and I'm back home, and it's probably one of the busiest times of my life right now. But it's good that I'm home to be around my family and friends and be able to be here for this, what's going to be happening November 1st at Soldier Field.
Yeah, absolutely, Jared. I've always believed in karma. This is a spiritual world, and things happen for a reason. But can you believe November 1st, a Sunday, happens to be the 10th anniversary of your dad's passing, and it falls right on a Sunday when the Bears play the Cleveland Browns. And I know you're going to be out there with your mother and your sister for a dedication at Soldier Field, correct? This Sunday?
Yeah, this Sunday. And also too, it falls on All Saints Day, so it's kind of crazy. My dad passed away. He definitely was a saint. But we're just looking for everybody, all the Bears fans, and Chicago is our extended family, and they've been nothing but the best in these last 10 years. Because without them, and without the memories, and without everybody still talking about my dad, his legacy and still stands, and it's still here every single day. He's mentioned, and we know, as we have people in our life pass away, but how do you, pass away and still be talked about every single day for 10 years? I think that's special. It really tells who the man was. Not even just a football player, but who the man was and what he did on and off the field. He was unbelievable. That's why I strive to be like him every single day.
Jarrett, I hope the Bears do the right thing Sunday and announce that they're going to put the statue in front of Soldier Field. Have they given you any inkling that they might do this?
No, haven't got any inkling yet. Right now, it's in talks. We're still talking about where it should be, and like me, my mom and my sister said, it's going to be put in the place where it should be, and we just have to, figure out from the city and where they want to put it. But we're not. Everybody wants it to go there, and we would like it to go there, but there's always a right place for everything, and we just kind of have to sit around and wait. But it's going to be somewhere where everybody can enjoy it, and that's what we want.
Mm-hmm. You know, Jarrett, I'm just, I kind of reminisce back 10 years ago, and I know you were a young man, just graduating from high school. I believe you were,
St. Viator.
18, 19 years old at the time of the funeral,
Yeah.
and you were the first to speak at the eulogies. There were 5 that day. That image stays in my mind forever because that was one of the most private services I've ever witnessed, and I felt so bad. I mean, you got up there, you were the first one to do. I could just tell in your voice. There's something that you can never ever prepare yourself to have to do your speech like that, particularly when it's such a young age.
Yeah, it was a tough deal. I mean, I think about back to that time. It's anytime. We've all had people who passed away or got sick, and especially when someone gets sick in your family, normally it's just you and your family who know about it.
Mm-hmm.
But as a young man, being 19 years old, next thing you know, not only does...
Whoops, we lost him. Well, anyway, we'll try to get Jarrett back on. Hopefully his battery didn't run out. But hey, you know what? We've got a guy from Kentucky on, the guy that snapped the ball, center for the Chicago Bears, good old number 52, Dan Neal. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
Hey, we're doing great. Hey, thanks for coming on here. We're going to try to get Jarrett back on board here, but
I came on late to hear what he was talking about, but that had to be tough for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, were you at that private service?
Yeah, at the time I was coaching down in New Orleans with Coach Dicka, and we flew up that day for the ceremonies.
Fantastic. I don't know if you caught a little bit part of what I was telling Jared, but that was a pretty special service, wasn't it?
Oh, it certainly was. He was gone too soon.
Gotcha.
The words can't describe that. I can't believe he was the healthiest person that I've ever known, and then to have something like that happen was just doesn't seem fair, does it?
No, we all have our special moments with Walter. What can you tell us one of your special times? Maybe something privately you had with him.
I've been thinking about it ever since Robin called the other day and said, we're going to do this. I came to the Bears in '75. His rookie year, and I was there 9 years with him. How could you sum up one special moment? There were so many. I was the center. He was stationed right across. His position in the huddle was right across from me, and he could get anybody. When he wanted to step out of that huddle and start waving his hands, the whole Soldier Field would just erupt, and he just. All the people that I knew in pro football, and I was in it 26 years playing and coaching,
mm-hmm.
He probably was the one person that enjoyed the whole time. I mean, he enjoyed practice. He was out there before
Which
practice.
is hard to do.
Oh,
yeah.
Especially for Tommy Harris.
But he would be out early. He was our backup punter and backup
Of course he was.
An extra point kicker.
Yeah.
He would be out there working or playing with that. He just enjoyed life in general and enjoyed football.
Yeah, he loved it. How many times, when he wasn't doing anything, he always had a ball in his hand. He was throwing it either to Vince Evans or somebody, someone on the sidelines. Yeah, yeah.
And a prankster. I remember Dennis Lick and I were roommates in training camp. We heard all this fireworks and commotion and what the heck is going on? And we opened up our door, and as soon as we opened up our door, he had a cherry bomb, and it just went, oh, hell. We ran back into the room, and we couldn't close the door fast enough, and the dang thing went right into our room and blew up while we were in there.
Do we got Jarrett back on the phone?
Yeah, hey, Jared's back on, and I know that Dan Neal wanted to say hi to you, Jared.
Hello,
Hi, Jarrett. I don't know if you remember me, but I had my daughter Kelly, and you all used to dance a little bit up there at Scornavacos when we had parties.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
I can't complain. Life is really good.
That's great. I'm glad for you.
Jarrett, David again here. I was looking at YouTube last night, and I watched the video of you presenting your dad for the Hall of Fame. You were 12 years old at the time. What was it like? Was that your first foray into public speaking?
Yes, it was. And how is it that the first one was so huge? And
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And I talked about it yesterday. I was doing an interview, and I said, I was just very blessed and to actually be the first, the first son to ever induct his dad into the Hall of Fame. And then you have, all the people who came after me who've done it. But to be able to say you're the first, I think is something that's very special. But I didn't know the magnitude of what I was doing. But now, it's brought up to me every once in a while. So it's like to be able to do that is something that was really, really cool.
Boy, I tell you grow up fast, don't you, Jared? When you're stepped into the big stage like that, that's unbelievable. But you know what? About that, your speech was terrific. But that hairdo, man, it was great.
Yeah, I had the they call it the Gumby with a little bit of Sean.
Yeah,
Kemp
that's
on
right.
The side,
That's right. That's right. But obviously, Walter got up there, of course, and after your speech, and of course he says, "Well, I don't mind losing the bet. Whoever cries first." I mean, that just brought tears to my eyes. I just, when you're that close to somebody, and your dad was just amazing guy, and wow, just he was fighting back those tears, wasn't he? He was fighting them.
He was definitely fighting back the tears. It was such an emotional moment and such a great time. I mean, it was a special time because, anytime someone's deserving of something like that, it's and being recognized for it. I know it was a big day in his life, but it was a huge day in my life just to be a part of it.
Jarrett, did he want you to play football?
Mm-hmm. I say that all the time. Nah, I don't think. I think in his heart maybe. He always wanted me to, but he never ever came out and told me. He never said.
He just wanted you to be happy, Jared. That's all.
Exactly. He just wanted me to be happy, and I believe it's as a man who just got married and hopefully have kids pretty soon, I'm trying to figure out how I'm not going to push my little kid when he gets old enough to be in the backyard, kicking the soccer ball, throwing the football around. But he never once pushed me. He just always enjoyed being around me and being around things that I did, and I just respect that of him so much.
Yeah, speaking of your new wife, she's a beautiful, beautiful woman, and I appreciate seeing some of those pictures on your Facebook and so forth. Since we're Facebook friends, guys, what's that? Hey.
Facebook and Twitter community.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is, it's the greatest thing. I've been blogging and Twittering and Facebook, and just to be able to get in touch with fans and people who cared about my dad, and it's so crazy how much goes off all day long, and to be able to contact with those people, it's so special. And so I tell people all the time, it's been the key to success, and also my key to be able to talk to people and interact with people.
That's great. That's why these social networks go. Some take them to the limits, of course, and do some not so good things.
Ocho Cinco.
I tell people all the time, if you want good inspirational things or you want good things going on, follow me on Twitter. It's really easy.
Boy.
Payton's son, Paytonsun. I have to get a plug on that one.
Hey, feel free to do that. Let's also talk about a couple events coming up here. Besides Soldier Field this Sunday, there's a big event, I believe, at Soldier Field the following Thursday.
Yeah. There's actually we're doing the thing on the 1st, and then also I'm having an event November 6th at Bull and Bear in the city, 431 North Wells Street. It's from 7 to 9, and have a couple guys coming: Greg Olson, Jerry Zuma, Garrett Wolf, a guy Jacob Bell from the Rams, and a couple more people.
Robin Earl.
Robin Earl. I'm hoping guys can show up, and also it's benefiting the foundation, and it's my goal is to not only get young people involved in a foundation, but also just being able to bring people together so they can network, and that's what this world is all about. So that's kind of my goal, and this will be the first one, and we'll do a couple more next couple months. And there's also a toy drive November 8th at the Bears game, and we're trying to tell everybody just to bring a new unwrapped toy, and it all goes towards the foundation, And for these kids, like I said, over 60,000 gifts last year. I mean,
Wow.
we're trying to do more this year. So if everybody's going to the game that day, please bring a new and unwrapped toy.
Beautiful. And you know what I like about this most of all, Jarrett, is the fact that, you know, it's our community here, it's Chicago, but you're benefiting the people within our community. Okay. I'm not saying that all the other foundations, you know, they've got the ones overseas and so forth and so on. I understand that, and people have passion for that. But you're helping the children right here in the good old USA. And that means so much to us.
Walter never said no to kids. He loved the kids. Always signed autographs.
Absolutely.
Never, Dan, you never, you know, it didn't matter if we were in the airport. It didn't matter if we were coming out of the locker room or going in the locker room after a hot, sweaty 2 days practice. Walter signed every autograph.
Everything. He never said no to anybody. He's quite a person.
That's right. Well, Jarrett, hey, thanks for coming on. Dan, I want to keep you on for a couple seconds yet.
Hey, Jarrett, say hi to your mom from my wife Barbara and I for us, will you please?
I definitely will, and thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys for just keeping my dad's legacy and spirit alive. It's a wonderful thing, and I know today you guys are going to have a great show, and I'm just so thankful to be a part of it.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks, Jarrett.
Thanks, Jarrett.
As usual, or anytime you need anything, you've got my contact information. Just give me a call, give me a holler. I'll be more than happy to help you, whatever I can do to help. Thanks, Jarrett.
We're all Facebook friends. Let's make it happen.
You
Absolutely.
bet. You bet, buddy. All right. Okay, Dan Neal, give us a little, now your turn to get a little plug. What are you up to these days?
Oh, about 285.
A little over that playing weight, huh?
Just a little bit, but I'm working at it. I'm trying to stay there. I touched on it a little bit. I after my playing days, I went and coached with for 15 years, and 5 years ago, I retired. I had enough of it, and I moved back here to Louisville, my hometown. I've opened up a fitness clubs, Coaches Fitness Club is what it's called. They're little neighborhood, 2,000 square feet, small workout facilities, and our target are the baby boomers.
Okay.
And we're doing real well, and we're thinking about taking them out, and who knows, in the near future, we could have some up in the Chicago area.
What's your website?
It's coachesfitness.com.
How many current facilities do you have right now?
I just have 2 right now.
Okay.
Now. But we are in the process of getting our stuff together, and we're going to try to market this across the country. It's a nice. You can come in. We use free motion machines, which I don't know if you know, but they are very, very good. What they do is not only do they tone you up a little bit, but they strengthen the small stabilizer muscles in your joints.
Tommy Harris could use that.
Yeah. But for people of my vintage, you start losing your balance and so forth. That does help to help that out. And,
I see you turned age 60 this year. Congratulations.
Not long ago. Thank you.
All right.
That is a milestone.
I think when I saw you you were at the couple years ago, you were at the alumni dinner, and
last year.
Yeah. And you look good, man. At least you're moving and mobile and all that good stuff.
If you own a fitness club, you better.
You better do. That's right. But how many guys did we play with, Dan, that are absolutely? I'm just going to come right out and say this: look like crap.
Wally, Wally Chambers.
To be honest with you, and to be fair to athletes, your intensity to stay in shape was so intense and so high that, to play the game, that when you retire, you're tired of working that hard. And a lot of them just kind of sit back, and then all of a sudden they say, man, I've really blown up.
Dan Jiggets.
but really, if you think about how hard we used to have to work to stay in shape, you get burned out of that. And that's the only way that most athletes know how to work out.
But Jiggets never worked hard, and he's still takes up the whole TV screen.
I'm not going to Daddy Junior's house. I'm not even going to touch that.
Oh, David, you're brutal. You're brutal.
But we have a little workout. You can get in and out in about a half an hour, and it helps your quality of life.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's really great. The baby boomers, if you want to do anything in the business world, just stay ahead of the baby boomers.
That's it.
That's what.
Stay with them.
Stay right with them. Stay right with them. Absolutely. Well, Danny, thanks for coming on board today. Love it.
Thanks for thinking of me. And it's quite an honor to be on with somebody as great as Walter Payton's memory. And I have so many great ones about the man. And I don't know where to start.
I know.
Only the good die young.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, God bless to you and your lovely wife Barb, and good luck with the fitness centers, and hope to see you in town at the next reunion next year.
All righty. Thanks for having me.
Take care, Dan.
Thank you,
Neal.
Dan.
All right, that was Dan Neal, and of course we had Jarrett on, and hey guys, good start. We've got a bunch more to go. We're gonna get Johnny Roland on next. And we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Have you ever read something or saw something, and in the back of your mind you're saying to yourself, wow? Hi, Robin Earl here, and let me introduce you to the most explosive revolution ever in the telecommunications industry. On September 1st, Liberty International is launching their very own WOW mobile wireless phone service. WOW's Unlimited Everything is exactly what it says. Unlimited data transfer, unlimited internet, unlimited voice, unlimited text, unlimited emailing, and unlimited calls anywhere in the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico, all for a flat rate of $79.95 a month. There are no taxes, no contracts, no credit checks, and no fine print. Add just $10 to the plan, and you're able to call 40 international countries absolutely free. If you're like me and want to take it to the next level and have everything you want without the bill, then all you have to do is refer 3 clients to Liberty's WOW wireless service, and your mobile service is absolutely free. Wow! Not only is my home digital phone service free, but now my mobile phone service is free. Wow, that's awesome. For more information about Liberty International's phone service and the incredible opportunity it provides, call me at 847-276-0671. Again, 847-276-0671. Or visit my website, robinearl.net. Look forward to hearing from you.
All right, are we ready? Yeah! The real reason for the invention of the Internet. TalkZone.com. Let's get back to Barely Legal. Once again, here's Robin Earl and David Spada.
Okay, we're back, guys. I got two phones in my ear.
You got 2 ears, 2 eyes.
Robin's multitasking in here.
Multitasking here. I got my laptop running. I got a computer to my right. I got 2 phones running. We're just trying to give all the guys a fair shot that said, hey, I'd love to come on and talk about Walter, some of the great moments and so forth.
I know Bob Avellini wants to come on.
I just got Bob on, and I'm
going to give him a hard time. He ripped me at that golf course at Bolingbrook a couple months ago about my driving a golf cart.
Oh, driving a golf cart.
I thought you were talking about driving with a club.
Yeah, exactly. Or let's bring on a guy who actually was Walter's backfield coach with the Bears back in their heyday, and of course that's Coach Johnny Roland. How you doing, JR?
Doing fine, great. It's a beautiful day down here in St. Louis.
Oh man, I tell you. Hey, you know what I love about you, JR, is that your middle initials are really a cool name, man. Your middle name. It's cool. Earl, baby.
How about that?
You gotta love it. Love it.
Only a few people know that.
Only a few people. Well, I know now because the internet never lies.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
Anyway, Coach, thanks for coming on, and I know you're down here in St. Louis. And what brings to your mind when you think about Walter Payton? And can you believe it's been 10 years since he's passed?
When you mentioned that the other day, it's gone way too quick, and obviously we lost him way too early. But the things that come to mind is not only a great football player, but what an outstanding guy that he was. Great teammate, good leadership skills, loved playing football, and guys loved him because you knew you would get 120%.
What made him such a good running back, Johnny?
Oh, all combinations. He didn't have the greatest of speed, but once he got out, nobody really caught him. Great vision, great instincts, great change of direction, toughness, the love of the game. He was a total package. I guess you would say if he was a baseball player, he'd be a 5'2" player.
When you look at the running backs today, and there's a couple big bruisers out there, particularly this kid in Minnesota. Did you see that hit that he had on Sunday on that little defensive back trying to come up and make a tag on him?
It was like a Ford truck running over a rooster.
Yeah, but I guess as Doug Buffon would say that the bone he always talks about. I can't even pronounce the damn thing.
Warm shiver.
Well, no, yeah. It's just that Walter never went out of bounds. He made you pay every time that he was on those sidelines. That if a defensive back or linebacker, I don't care who it was, he gave him the bone, man.
There was nothing really finesse about him in terms of his running style, because I guess in high school or college, I think it's probably Jackson State, his coach told him to be the aggressor. And he was definitely the aggressor when a guy would come up to try to tackle him, because Walter had a knack for delivering a little 6-inch pop, so to speak. And so if you were going to tackle him, you were going to pay the price.
A couple of weeks ago when Matt Forte couldn't get in from the 1-yard line when he tried to go over the top on the one play, I thought to myself, no one can do it like Walter did. You would know when they're on the 1-yard line, he was going to get the ball and go right over everybody, and you could not stop the guy.
He had great hops. He could leap. He had great feet, and of course, as you say, he had good pick and slide and glide, I guess is how you would describe it.
During the off season, we used to play a lot of basketball together, and we'd go from town to town and raise some money for charity, the police department or the Kiwanis Club or whatever it was. But the first basketball game I ever played, JR, you won't believe this, he actually blocked a shot about 3/4 of the way up on the glass. Wow, he slammed.
My question to you was he a ball hog?
No, he wasn't. You know what? He was okay. Everyone enjoyed watching him play, but when he slapped that ball off the backboard 3/4 of the way up, and then he got a breakaway and did a slamma-jamma, I'm like, wait a minute, how tall is this guy? He's 5'10". But, when we stood chest to chest and expanded our arms, they were actually longer than mine.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And I'm 6'5".
Yeah, well, he played like a 6'3" or 4 kind of guy.
Right. Real long.
Coach Andy Maisneff here. What was your greatest moment with Walter Payton?
Oh, several. Obviously, to get him to the Super Bowl and win, despite him not scoring a touchdown. But I was there for his, when he broke the records for scoring the most touchdowns, and when he broke the Jim Brown's records, and just a ton of things that, and just to be around him every day, because the boy had a little silly in him, and
oh yeah,
he was very very playful, and the things you miss is when he comes up to Robin, you may have at Hallis Hall where the backs met was upstairs by Coach Dicker's office, and he obviously had to go by my office. And not that I'm a neat freak, but I kind of know where everything is on my desk. Okay. And he just get the greatest joy of just coming in and disarranging my desk.
Putting paperweights different directions and different spots and pictures all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I had quite a crew. I had not only Walter, but I had Matsue, who was just the same silly. Calvin Thomas, Dennis Gentry, and Thomas
Pinky
Sanders.
Yeah.
So our meetings were very interesting, as you might suspect.
Unbelievable.
You coached two of the greatest running backs of all time. You coached Emmitt Smith his last year. Emmitt is the closest player I ever saw to Walter Payton. What did you think about Emmitt? I mean, you had him his last year in the league, but...
Well, actually, his second to last year. He had lost a little bit by the time I got him, but you knew why. You can see flashes, and you knew why that he was going to be the next guy to break the record. Because he had, again, not a guy that had great speed, but once he got out in the open, generally nobody really caught him. Very smart, intelligent player, asked great questions, a good team player. He had all the intangibles as well. But you also left out another guy who eventually is going to be in the Hall of Fame too. Is Jerome Bettis. I had him for a year.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Wilbur Montgomery, and Neil Anderson. So I had guys that make me look smart.
And Robin Earl.
No,
I didn't coach. He was. I was a tight end by the time Coach got in there.
Time, yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine Robin back in fullback with Payton and 85 Super Bowl team? That would have been a nice little backfield.
You know, I could, get back in there and do my thing.
Robin was a little long for a big time fullback.
Right, exactly.
It's hard for him. It's like Brad Muster. You always had to constantly remind him, stay low. Get under the guy's pad. Work your feet. Don't be satisfied with one contact.
It's all about the leverage.
Leverage and work to finish.
Yeah. It's like in high school, we've got a young man here at Stevenson High School, Mark Weissman, who's 6 foot, about 230, runs a legit 4-6 coach, and that's the reason we're 9-0 going into the playoffs.
Well, you'd be 9-0 when you got good players.
That's right.
Johnny, how do you coach Walter Payton? Did you tell him what to do, or you just let him do what he wanted? I mean,
no. Obviously, he knew the scheme of the play and blocking at the point of attack. I told him, I'd teach him the offense and teach him the blocking at the point of attack. But once I launch you, you're on your own. Get to your point of attack and take your read. And if it's not there, then be a running back.
Walter was always that way, but interesting that he was pretty quiet on the field for the most part. Wouldn't you say, Coach? Pretty quiet.
The thing that I liked about him is that he really could have made my job a lot tougher. But he was a guy that really wanted to be coach and wanted to know, is this the proper footwork we wanted to work on this particular play, or is this how you want it done? And we would work on it, but you know what? Not that he had bad habits, but he had a particular way that he did things. So you try to coach him up on trying to correct some of the flaws, but then in the game, when the game's on the line and he's feeling the energy, it just revert right back to you. I mean, just simple little thing like his stance, When he put all that weight forward, everybody know where you're going to be moving, where you're going. It's kind of tough to go laterally when you got so much weight on your hands.
Yeah. You take the players of our era, Coach, Dan Hampton, Steve McMichaels, Walter Payton,
good players.
The Dave Durisons, so forth. Now, do you think that we would put up with a Tommy Harris's crap? Is that just a change of the attitudes going on out there? But I've had enough of some of these players, but the Ocho Cincos of the world. But this Tommy Harris thing has really gotten under my crawl.
Okay, now you kind of lost me about the Tommy Harris thing. I know he's been hurt, and
what I'm saying is he's on Tommy's time. You know what I mean? He practices when he wants to practice. He goes out there and does what he wants to do. I think that,
and he's not that hurt.
No, I think Lovey called
him out this week.
I think Lovey called him out this week.
Did he?
Said,
he was benched.
If he called him out, then it's probably time for him to be called out because Lovey is the head coach, and if he doesn't practice, he probably got permission not to practice. So.
Have you ever seen a player not practice and perform well on Sunday? Never.
It's pretty difficult. I mean, you need to practice. It's like basketball players. They want to practice. They want to play about every second or third day, so their rhythm is there. Get too much rest, then the timing is off. I mean, it's kind of a strange thing, and you would think that they would want to rest, but it's always better to practice and always better to play well when you practice.
What do you think about the stats they're talking about putting up? They don't know where to put it up. I keep saying, and the Payton family wants to put in front of Soldier Field. What do you think they should do?
You know what? I don't know what they should do, but I know they should have a statue, and if it's not in the stadium, it should be on stadium grounds.
Absolutely. Did you ever ask Walter Payton to tuck the ball in? I mean, I was just watching some of his own footage back, on YouTube, and the ball's hanging out all over the place, and he wasn't a big fumbler.
Is the pig pork?
Yeah.
But he wasn't gonna listen to you. He was gonna do what he wanted.
Yeah, but JR, his hands were so damn big he could get away with it.
Not only were they big, he had strong hands. Did you ever shake hands with him?
Oh, God, yes.
To your knees if you didn't get it all the way tucked.
Johnny, I sat next to him at a Cubs game in 1987 after he retired. we go to our seats, and there's these guys sitting there. It was Walter, Eddie, and Jarrett, and he had shorts on. His legs were as wide, his thighs were as wide as my body. And this is after he retired.
That comes from all that uphill running.
That's right. All those hills that he ran.
Yeah.
No question about it. Well, anyway, JR, what are you doing these days down in St. Louis? Kind of enjoying yourself? The Gateway down there?
My grandson was on the floor of the Edward Jones Dome on Sunday. He's an 8th grader, and their junior high school team was playing and scrimmaging about 10 minutes of the 12 minutes of the halftime. And
oh, cool.
Yeah, and I came down to give him a little support because
beautiful.
He's a teenager now, he lets me know. And
13.
He's 13, yes.
He's probably better than some of those Ram players.
Well, he got it.
The whole team's better.
He wants to play, and he's a pretty good little player. He's going to be one of those kind of guys that's going to have his hand in the dirt. He's a center now, and I told him he needs to learn both guard. He needs to learn guard position, and better still, learn the long snap, because he can make a living in the pros by being a great long
for a very long time.
And for a very long time.
Absolutely,
and
Coach.
Don't have to take all the nasty hits, but look like a lot of these long snappers are getting wiped out just because they got to cover, and they got to be a player of sorts and be on special teams, and
got to be an athlete sooner or later.
Yeah, you got to be an athlete sooner or later.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, because they'll spot the non-athletes.
Fantastic. Hey, Johnny. As usual, thanks for coming on board.
Hey, man, thank you.
Look forward when the weather gets better again next summer. We'll be on the tour, on the golf tour together.
Yeah, that's good.
That's always a fun time. And as usual, what better guy to talk to on the Walter Tribute today than the guy who actually coached him?
He taught him how to run.
Yeah, before I got him, he couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time.
That's right. Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right, bud.
Thanks, Johnny.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
That was Johnny Roland, former running back coach for the Chicago Bears. What a great guy, and just a guy to hang with, man.
Yeah, fun.
I have an opportunity to play a lot of golf with him during the summer, and it's great. But we're going to take a break, and we're going to bring Bruce Herron on, Sluggo, that wore actually number 51 for the Chicago Bears. Talk to you soon. Hi, this is former Chicago Bear Robin Earl. For 7 seasons, you watched me play for the beloved every weekend. Now I empower people's lives every day with my Liberty Chicago team and strive for health, wealth, and happiness. To stay involved in sports, I coach youth football camps and started, believe it or not, a sports talk show called Barely Legal. Join me and my partner, attorney David Spada, as we talk sports, legal issues, have interviews with current and former players, and a whole lot more.
Hey, Robin, give me a chance to talk. Can I get a word in?
Take it easy.
For years, I've been helping SCORE listeners with all their legal issues. Traffic violations, personal injury matters, whether on the job or in a car accident, real estate, and more. If you need any of these, call me, attorney David Spada, today at 847-729-COMP. That's 847-729-2667. I'll bail you out like I did my partner here. And also, catch what a former Chicago Bear has to say, or grab some legal expertise by logging on to 670thescore.com today and listen to our show, Barely Legal.
The next time you're in the coffee aisle in the grocery store, pick up a can of Stewart's coffee. You're probably asking yourself, why Stewart's? Because Stewart's roasts only the finest beans and grinds those beans to perfection. By using the finest beans, you'll get a more consistent taste. This is the reason Stewart's has been around since 1912. Consistency and quality. Still family owned and operated? You'll know Stewart's coffee because of its plaid can. You'll find cheaper coffee on the store shelves, but not the quality of Stewart's. Remember, you get what you pay for. Coffee's good, but Stewart's coffee is so good.
You found the best place for quality internet talk around the clock and around the world. TalkZone.com. Let's get back to Barely Legal. Once again, here's Robin Earl and David Spada.
Okay, guys, we are entering the third segment of the hour. Wow, I tell you, so far so good. What do you think, Andy?
Time flies when you're having fun.
You look pretty comfortable behind that mic over there, man. I know you do some writing and with NFL sports writers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How's that going?
It's going good. Just had a couple articles that got nationally syndicated. USA Today, New York Times, a couple of stories on the TO issue that flew off the handle, that he was coming to Chicago, but that was all panned out to be a rumor. But it's fun. I enjoy writing, and and it's something that I really love.
Another drama queen, Terrell Owens, along right there.
Let's talk about a real football player, Walter Payton. I don't want to talk about the Tommy Harrises anymore, the T.O.s, the Ocho Cincos.
You know, they don't make them like they used to, do they?
No.
Like the Bruce Herrons, the tough guys.
Tough guys.
Tough.
That's right. How you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. We got on the line here Bruce Herron, that played for the Bears back in the 70s and 80s, like I did. Was a teammate of mine. Actually wore the number 51.
That's right.
And then I believe it went to Jim Morrissey, and then that was it. Then, right?
They retired it because of those two guys.
Yeah.
I was actually one that made that number famous. That's what I remember.
Beautiful. Hey, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
What do you remember most about Walter?
Oh man, you know what? I don't know if one incident is any more memorable than another, but there were many. I guess Robin, and you'll recall this, when we were in training camp, Walter was notorious for, at some point during training camp, it always happened like 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the morning. Walter would go down on the and everybody sleep. Players, coaches. We were up at Lake Forest there in the dormitories there.
Yep.
And Walter would put some fireworks in a damn that blasted 50-gallon drum and put the lid on the damn thing. It was like M80s or something. And at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, just boom, and wake everybody up, and everybody jump up and run outside. What the heck happened? And
pull the fire alarm. Pull the fire alarm.
Yeah, fire alarms go off, everything. I'm telling you, man, Walter was notorious for, he was a prankster.
Did you ever do any pranks to George Halas?
Well, I don't think the old man could have handled it.
Yeah. Hey, Bruce, how about the time that Walter brought his dog? Remember this one?
He had a giant schnauzer, man.
Giant schnauzer. Yeah, and then all the players came in the locker room. He'd sit right by the door of the entrance of the locker room coming in, and everyone teased that dog as they were coming in. You know, slapping little pads at him, or kind of flipping socks at the dog and so forth. And of course, Bob Parsons. Bob Parsons was the last guy to come off because special teams were out on the field, and that dog had enough. And when he saw number 86 walk through that door, he took a big chunk out of Bob's ass.
Hit him right in the butt, man. And, man, we all just fell out laughing. Parsons was so embarrassed. He's so pissed. Parsons quit the team. He left. I've had enough of this. I'm out of here.
He walked up to Armstrong's office with this playbook in hand. He says, "I quit."
He quit the team. How do you quit pro ball, man? Quit the team. God dang it, man. That was funny because I remember it like it happened yesterday, man. Every Saturday back in those days, Saturday was a day that guys used to bring their kids and used to bring their dogs to practice with them because it was just a walkthrough. It lasts maybe half an hour.
That's right.
Bring their dogs and kids, and so when that incident happened, Neil Armstrong he banned dogs. That was the last incident. But the dog took a plug out of Parsons' butt, man. He just fell out.
How long did it take Parsons to come back to the team?
Oh,
about 24 hours, 12 hours.
As soon as he got stitched up from the bite.
Did Parsons have the padding back then he does now?
No, oh Lord! Those are fighting words.
Yeah. That was so great about Saturday morning. Particularly if it was a home game, because we'd come in for no more than a half hour, 40 minutes.
Right.
And the rookies were responsible for the donuts. We always loved that.
Donuts and orange juice and milk.
Donuts and orange juice and milk.
That's right.
But we could bring the kids, and my kids were so little at the time. They're like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and I'll never forget son number 3, Roth, when he got thrown into the towel hamper, where all the towels going, and Walter was pushing him around the locker room as everyone was throwing towels in that hamper. That kid was so scared. Daddy, they're killing me, man. They're killing me.
Yeah, man, those were the days. But you know what, man? We laugh and talk about stuff like that. It's even 10 years later, it's still hard to believe
that Walter Payton's no longer with us, man. You're talking about a guy, the guy, and all of the Chicago Bears and probably all of the league, the most physically fit guy you'll ever want to run into was Walter Payton. I mean, man, he was just physically fit, and for him to come down with that illness and to leave us at such a young age, man, it just doesn't seem like it's real. Matter of fact, I do a lot of traveling with my job, and I was in Monterrey, Mexico about 2 months ago. And it was late night, I'm watching TV, and then in my room watching TV, and I turned to this channel, the sports channel, and they were running a clip of an old interview of Walter Payton. Mm-hmm. And, man, I'm telling you, it looked like it was just real time. And I'm sitting there, man, I'm watching this. Now, I developed tears in my eyes when I realized that he's no longer here, man. It's just such a sad thing. But what a great guy, man. I'm telling you, Walter, man, you hear about some of the guys today, some of the stupid things they do. We didn't make enough money to do the stupid stuff that these guys are doing today. But Walter was always one of the highest paid players in the league. And there was never a time that when a kid walked up to Walter, that Walter didn't take time to sign an autograph or to tease a joke with the kid, man.
That's right.
Never a time. Never. He never missed an opportunity to tease a kid or to sign an autograph. And, I'll take that to my grave. I tell you, man, I miss the guy. I miss the guy so much. It is just unbelievable.
He was your best running back in the late 70s, early 80s. He was the best receiver on the Bears, and he was probably your best quarterback back then. He could do it all.
Hold it. And not only that, but Walter could punt the ball.
Kick.
Walter could kick off. He could kick field goals.
Just a tremendous athlete.
I'm telling you, man, he was a tremendous athlete. And Walter was, 5'10"? And Walter could dunk a basketball. His little short, muscular butt get up that high and dunk a basketball.
And he could deliver a hit. How many hits did he put on you in practice?
Oh, well, yeah, he could deliver a hit. But you know what? He could hit us, but I guarantee you, if we hit him, Buddy would probably cut one of us.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, we were not allowed to hit Walter, man. That was a no-no.
Yeah, this is a special show today, Bruce. We're actually extending an extra hour to get some of the other guys on board with us, and the 10-year anniversary of his passing happens to fall on Sunday, the 1st of November, the day that of course Walter died. Do you remember the exact when you got the news? Do you remember? I mean, that exact moment.
You know what? Yeah, I remember it like I remember 9/11.
Me too.
Yeah.
I became numb. I just sit there, man. When I got that news, I just sit there and I was just dumbfounded. I couldn't work that day. I mean, I got up and I left. I went home. It was the most sad. One of the most saddest times in my life. Yeah. Because Walter was more than just a teammate, man. I mean, he was a part of our lives.
Absolutely.
And he was a special guy, just a special guy.
Hey, Bruce, let's bring on another teammate of ours. Bob Avellini's joining us. How you doing, Bob?
Mooch.
Fine, guys. Hey, Bruce. Hi, Robin. How you doing? Hi, Dave.
Hi, Rob.
Hey,
how you doing? How you doing, Bob?
Hey, Bob. Hey, Joe. Hey, what's happening? Hey, I know Bob's on a tight leash, and hey, thanks for coming on here for a second or two. Anything that you want to add to that, Bob, that kind of comes to mind as a special moment with Walter?
Yeah, well, lots of special moments, but what you guys were just talking about, when you just never thought. You just always thought that Walter was whether going to beat it. We didn't realize just how sick he was. Right. And I can remember being in Florida and just watching the news and seeing Walter appear on one of the press conferences, and I hardly recognized him. I didn't realize just how sick he was. Mm-hmm. And I think that happens to a lot of us when either we're in denial or whatever it is, and you just think that, oh, he's going to get better. But I can remember playing a golf tournament, and I was playing with Eddie Payton, his brother. And so Eddie says, "Come on, let's get Walter on the phone." And so we got Walter on the phone and talked to him. But at that point, I realized that just how sick Walter was, and I kind of wish I had maybe gone. And although he didn't want visitors, Bruce, if you remember,
right,
he didn't want any visitors. I think that Matt Dewey was one of the few guys that went over to go see him.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, when you played with him, did he ever basically say, "This is my huddle," or did you run the huddle?
I ran the huddle.
That a boy.
No, he would not. No, he would not. Walter was, a great teammate, and
and he was the ultimate team player too, man.
No matter what people want to believe, if the quarterback doesn't run the huddle, you have no huddle.
Right.
Okay, so I ran the huddle, and no matter what.
And it's the way it should be. Absolutely.
That's the way it's got to be. Otherwise, you can't run a huddle.
That's right. I was just telling JR, Johnny Roland, earlier, was that Walter, he was fairly quiet. What I remember in the huddle, he never said too much. He just, he got the crowd excited by waving his arms and getting things going. But, he did everything by example. When he made the hits and I'll never forget, some plays that he actually blocked for me on occasion. And he would hit those linebackers so damn hard. I mean, it's amazing what that forearm could do. Amazing.
But you're right, Robin. If he said anything, it was before we even got in the huddle. He might have said, geez, there was a couple of times when we had Roland Harper, and we just switched between Roland and Walter in terms of, who was going to carry the ball. It might have called for the fullback to carry the ball, which was Roland. And, I might have said to Walter, hey, you know what? Switch with Roland. You carry the ball. Roland never objected, so it worked out fine that way. But Walter would never demand the ball or anything like that. Walter was a great teammate.
The only thing Walter couldn't do well was play golf.
His brother makes up for it. Eddie's
that's true. Yeah, we're gonna have Eddie on at the start of the next hour, which we're looking forward to that, of course. When I called him, he says, how long you need me? And I said, about 10 minutes. He goes, that's it?
Eddie could go for hours.
Eddie can yap forever. No question about it.
Yeah.
He's got the gift of gab. You can believe that.
Bob could talk a lot, but Bob could kind of harass you because Bob was on me on the golf course last month saying it was the worst driver I ever saw.
worst golf cart driver.
David's been waiting for Bob all day on that.
You were deceiving, though. You were deceiving. You put the ball in the hole with a lot less strokes than I thought at the end of the day.
I know. He's a sneaky player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob was going to call the DuPage police. He thought I was driving under the influence on the golf course.
He'd have to go and represent himself.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, we're up against
one quick Walter story, okay?
Okay, real quick.
First time I ever met him, we're playing in an All-Star game, the Senior Bowl.
Okay.
And this was before ESPN, before all kinds of, national coverage and everything like that. And they say to me, okay, of course, the quarterbacks at that time were calling our own plays. They says, get the ball to this guy. I says, who is this guy? They says, Walter Payton. Walter Payton, I never heard of him. And literally, we were both seniors together. But could you imagine not hearing of a Walter Payton in college? And I beg to anybody to say that they did hear of him in college. Very few people did. And they said, just get the ball to him. First time I turned to hand the ball off to him in practice, man, he hit the hole so fast, I didn't even get the ball to him. I said, who is this guy?
Who is
so
this
quick.
guy?
He would jump through a hole about as big as, the smallest little hole.
Yeah.
And you could see how special he was going to be at that time.
Unbelievable. Well, thanks to Jim Finks, we got him drafted to Chicago. Guys, we're out of time. We got my producers waving red flags at me, but hey, thanks for everything, guys. Bruce Herron, Bob Avellini, you're the best. I really, really enjoyed playing with you guys, and look forward to talking to you down the road.
Okay, guys.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, Bob Avellini, Bruce Herron. We'll be back in a couple minutes at the top of the hour with Eddie Payton. Hi, this is former Chicago Bear Robin Earl. For 7 seasons, you watched me play for the beloved every weekend. Now I empower people's lives every day with my Liberty Chicago team and strive for health, wealth, and happiness. To stay involved in sports, I coach youth football camps and started, believe it or not, a sports talk show called Barely Legal. Join me and my partner, attorney David Spada, as we talk sports, legal issues, have interviews with current and former players, and a whole lot more.
Hey, Robin, give me a chance to talk. Can I get a word in?
Take it easy.
For years, I've been helping SCORE listeners with all their legal issues. Traffic violations, personal injury matters, whether on the job or in a car accident, real estate, and more. If you need any of these, call me, attorney David Spada, today at 847-729-COMP. That's 847-729-2667. I'll bail you out like I did my partner here. And also, catch what a former Chicago Bear has to say, or grab some legal expertise by logging on to 670thescore.com today and listen to our show, Barely Legal.
TalkZone.com.
Let's get back to Barely Legal. Once again, here's Robin Earl and David Spada.
Welcome back to the Barely Legal Show. If anybody's out there in their cubicle, bored to death, and corporate America, I know you're out there. That's 888-GO-FOR-IT, GOFORIT. That's 463-6748 are the call numbers. And feel free to call in. You know, I mean, I know we've got a packed guest lists and with the guys we've had, and we're expecting to have Eddie on here real soon. We got Steve McMichael, Mongo, Bobby Douglas, and Jim Morrissey, all guys that played with him. And Jim Morrissey played at the end of his career. Bobby Douglas was at his first rookie of the year and so forth. Mm-hmm. And
Eddie played with him his whole life.
And of course, Eddie played tag with him his whole life. Yeah, yeah. Fantastic.
And I want to thank Elliot Harris for mentioning our show in the Sun-Times today. Did a nice 2-paragraph thing talking about the guests.
Yeah, more importantly, the nice young lady he put next to the articles.
I don't look at the women. I got my wife.
some nice eye candy there, man.
I got my eye candy at home.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all married guys, but you know
absolutely.
What?
Just because you're on a diet don't mean you can't look at the menu,
That's right. That's right. You know what? The wives should be nervous when we quit looking.
Yeah, that's it.
You ever hear? But you know, I mean, seriously,
you're right. Yeah. You can look, but don't touch.
That's right. That's right. We're all good husbands, and the important thing is we take good care of them. We take good care of the kids, and so forth. Okay, we got about 2 or 3 minutes before Eddie comes on. Let's talk a little bit about the fiasco Sunday with the Bengals, and I know you've got a little update information, Andy. That what can we expect a little bit with the Cleveland Browns? Anything that besides we're a 14-point favorite? Can you believe that?
Yeah, I'm not real sure about that. I would probably hammer the other way in that direction, but expect the running game to come alive. I think obviously with 6 carries with Matt Forte, 4 of those which were in the first drive. Just ridiculous. You can't get anything going with 6 carries. I don't care if you're Walter Payton. You got to get this thing running. You got to get the running game established early, and it's the offensive line is the problem here. If you look, and Lovey hasn't done what he said he's going to do. It's coming out now that what he's saying in practice and what they're going over as far as review, and then they go to the game, and it's a different scenario, different group of guys out there for different schemes, and they just need to get back to the basics. I know Frank Amalia obviously needs to improve. I do look for Beekman. They've been saying it for 2 weeks now.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? Yeah.
I don't know if Lovey really believes that much in Amalia, or Beekman has done something that has indicated not to go that direction in practice. But I think it's time for him to get a shot, and I think that left side of the line needs to improve. If that can happen, I think that running game will get going, and that'll open up the passing game.
It's called Angelo giving the money in the offseason to Malia, and Angelo wants this guy to play so he doesn't look like a fool.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm going to ramp just a little bit here, guys. Okay, I'm going to give it to you as a former player's perspective.
Let's hear it.
And let me tell you something. I don't care if I piss some people off. I don't care if I hurt some feelings or whatever. Hey, look, I'm that kind of guy. You know me now.
Yep.
I just tell it the way it is. But here, look it. You come into that game against the Bengals, right? You had Tank Johnson, you had Sid Benson.
Yep.
Okay, those were the positive force working for the Cincinnati Bengals. They had a bone to pick against the Chicago Bears. They got ready, mentally and physically ready to play that game, and they came out and said, we're going to kick their ass.
And they did.
No question about it. The Bears kind of nonchalant, just kind of, I don't know how their practices went, blah, 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 blah. But it looked like when they showed up, they all had Tommy Harris syndrome. Oh, I'll play when I want to play. Oh, I'll practice when I want to practice. It doesn't work that way in the National Football League. You have a job, you show up, and you play with some passion. There wasn't one bit of passion out there Sunday. Not one from that orange and blue. Not one bit.
Absolutely not. And that starts with the coach. And Lovey was the first one to come out that said, I wasn't ready, and then he kind of recanted that statement and said we weren't ready. You know what? It starts with the coach. He needs to take responsibility for that. He did not have his team ready for Sunday's game.
Then you know what? He's ready for the unemployment line. Bring someone in. Jeff Fisher's going to be out of work. Bring a Fisher. Mike Shanahan, Bill Cowher.
Bring
any of them in. We need passion. We need to do something. Lovey took over this defense because it did nothing last year. And again, they looked okay the first 4 games. There was nothing there last week.
It just, you know what? I know it was a later game, 3:15 kick, and I'm sitting there and watched a beautiful game with the Vikings and the Steelers.
Yeah, that was
an exciting game.
Barn burner.
And then all of a sudden, here comes the Bears, Cincinnati. Cincinnati gets the opening kickoff. They go, march, boom, touchdown. And I go, I lost interest right there. There was no passion on the defense.
It was over when it started.
And what's with our secondary? What's with it? This Bowman kid, where did he find him?
Yeah, and you know what? There's some reports that Vasher's gonna get some more play this week.
He can't play.
They're paying him the money. They gotta put him somewhere. Put him at safety. He can't play safety.
You know, I like Nate Vasher, but come on, the guy's hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the skill
We're
set
in trouble,
anymore.
guys. You know, think about it. 2 missed field goals. We're 1-5.
I can't believe it. I'm looking at the point spreads. Did you know there's 5 double-digit spreads this week? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Double-digit spreads, and that means you've got some pretty damn good teams, and you got some really, really crappy teams out there.
They're saying Tennessee might not win a game this year.
Yeah.
Could happen. How about 4 teams may not win a game, or 3? Or we got 3?
Yeah.
You've got let's see.
Tampa, Tennessee,
Tennessee, and who else? And Oakland beat Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Oakland won 2 games already.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They've won 2.
Don't forget Cleveland, though.
Yeah, but they've won 1 game, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, again, it is basically you got parity in the middle, and then you got some stud teams and some dogs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you're going to see a lot of 9-7 teams in the playoffs, a lot of 12-4 teams in the playoffs, and a lot of 2-14 teams.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know where the parity level is, but it got kind of lopsided a little
Gruden's
bit.
going to be in Notre Dame, I hope.
Yeah.
You know, they were talking about it earlier about Cutler and his nice relationship he had with Shanahan. Okay. Now, when is it time? And you know, I know Ron Turner doesn't listen to our show, and I like him as a friend. But when does the responsibility start falling in his lap?
I think it needs to. You know, the fans are calling out for him. You know, there's already hate sites on Facebook. Fire Ron Turner. You know, there's now coming out with Lovie Smith. You know, and the fans are bucking up and they're saying what they need to say. And the bottom line is they're watching a disgraceful football team on Sunday and they're getting pissed.
You know,
I don't blame them.
The last Bears good offensive coordinator or offensive coach was Sid Gilman, your rookie year.
My rookie year?
Yeah.
If he would have been coaching that team the end of the 70s, 80s, instead of just 1 year, you would see a totally different Bears offense because he trained Don Coryell and who created Dan Fouts and whole San Diego passing game, which turned into the 49ers, which turned into the Dolphins. All those teams followed Sid Gilman's lead.
Yeah. You know, I think a lot of fans took that game personally. It was embarrassing to be a Bears fan. I know my brother called me 4 seconds after the game and said, I'm just absolutely embarrassed. I want to burn every Bears jersey I have right now. And, you know, it was definitely a frustrating game, but you look at it from a fan's perspective, he's right. It was embarrassing. You can't hold your head high and say I'm a Bears fan when you see that.
It brought me back to the Wani era. Again, just basically Dave Wannstedt, we did some good things, we did some bad things, but we're going to be ready next week. 1 or 2 plays could have turned it. You had Lovey going into halftime saying, we're gaining momentum. You kicked the field goal, and you're gaining momentum with a field goal. You were down by over 2-3 touchdowns at the point.
It's all the same with him. Well, we failed in all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, come on. How many times are you going to say that?
Yeah, they're saying that the money they saved on Cutler, go ahead and buy out Lovey's contract and bring in a real coach.
Yeah, I mean,
bring in a Shanahan or
I'd rather see Bill Cowher. Actually,
yeah.
Cowher did he went 2 Super Bowls with Pittsburgh, and they turned over that talent all the time. But again, he knew how to coach. He had Neil O'Donnell as his quarterback, got him to the Super Bowl with O'Donnell. He had Roethlisberger his rookie year, and he had some other quarterbacks in between.
And I'll tell
Cordell Stewart he won with, who you saw what he did in Chicago.
I think Lovie Smith calling the defense was just a disastrous mistake on the organization. And
you can't allow Babbage to do it, for God's sake.
He doesn't want to upset Babbage. He's basically makes Babbage the linebacker coach, but still calls him the defensive whatever.
Did you notice?
Defensive something. Marinari had defensive assistant head coach.
Assistant head coach, but he's not the defensive head coach.
Exactly.
He's a defensive line coach.
that's ridiculous. Did you notice, though, all the defensive players were just flat out confused. Nobody knew their coverages. Nobody knew what their schemes were. Peter Tillman's out there shrugging his shoulders going, well, what do I do? Where am I supposed to be? What do I do? So, I just think there's definitely, is it one player? No. Is it one coach? No. It's the whole damn organization is in shambles, and they need to fix it, and they need to fix it now.
Let's see what our caller from Round Lake has to say.
Hey, Round Lake, it's got to be Glenn, the greatest, the biggest Bear fan ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Glenn
How are you
Timmerman.
guys doing
Big
today?
Glenn, how are you?
We're doing fine, man. Hey, this is, of course, a tribute to Walter Payton. What did Walter Payton mean to you as the fan?
Right, yeah, everything. I mean, to me, when someone says football, it's Walter Payton. Somebody says Walter Payton, it's football. I mean, that's it. I mean, Walter Payton is football.
Did he sign? Just to let our fans know, you're the Bear fan who's got over 100 tattoos of Bear players on his body. Did Payton ever sign you?
No. I didn't start it, early enough for that, and God knows I wish I would have.
Well, you've got a great one of Mike Ditka and Dick Buckus, and you even have a Robin Earl.
That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, Glenn, sorry about that game we had against Round Lake with Stevenson last week, but
I'm sure you're really sorry. well, like I said, I was surprised Round Lake scored.
Well,
Round Lake got tattooed like the Bears got tattooed like you're tattooed.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, let's go back to sweetness because we don't want to talk about that. What happened Sunday?
What's your favorite memory of sweetness?
You have it bad. I have to go around looking like I do all week long.
What's your favorite memory of Walter?
Well, like I said, with Walter, everything. I mean, and I'm really sorry to say this, but, especially with Robin here, but back in the 70s, we didn't have a great team. To watch them, I mean, I put on the TV, no matter win, lose, who cares? I watched Walter Payton.
That's right.
I mean, so we're going to give him the ball 20, 25 times, and those were amazing every time he touched the ball.
Yeah. Well, let's rephrase that just a little bit here, Glenn. They were lousy in the beginning of the 70s.
You knew that was coming.
And in 77, 79, we actually made the playoffs. But you're right. What did the Bear fans actually had to look forward to was Walter Payton.
And that was it. I mean, there was nothing to really. I mean, it wasn't like you knew we were going to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, but we had Walter to watch, and I mean, believe me, every play, I mean, is on a highlight film today.
That's right. Hey, Glenn, we've got another special guest, the guy that probably knew Walter better than anybody, and that's his older brother, Eddie Payton. How you doing, Eddie?
Doing pretty good today. How about yourself?
Hey, say hi to Glenn.
Glenn, how you doing?
Hey, not bad. How you doing, Eddie?
I appreciate you guys allowing me to be a part of this special tribute you guys are doing, and hopefully I won't embarrass Robin by telling the truth.
Yeah, we want to hear that.
Yeah, of course. But hey, stay on a little bit, Glenn. If you want to ask Eddie a question, feel free to do so. But hey, how's it going down there in the bayou, down in Mississippi? I heard you had some rain down there.
Well, it rains every other day, but we need it to keep our deer fat and our lawns green.
Eddie David Spada, when you think of your brother, what do you think of?
I think of a young man that was a better person than he was a football player.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. What, I mean, it just, the relationship that you had when you were little kids growing up, I think you were about, 3 years older?
2.
About 2 years? Describe that a little bit. What, give us a little insight about when you guys were growing up. I mean, little kids, when you're like 8, 9, 10 years old.
Who beat up who?
Well,
who beat up who?
Once you get to past middle age, say 50, that your memory starts kind of deteriorating, and the older I get, the better that we were. So if I exaggerate a little bit, blame it on my memory, not on my heart. But I think the time that we were brought up and the area we were brought up in led us to learn to respect our elders, obey our parents, and go to church on Sunday and give thanks for what we've gotten that week. And those are the type of basic foundations that most people today try to instill in their kids and hope that they'll take it on to life. And those life lessons will make them better, productive citizens. And, my father didn't believe in sparing the rod and spoiling the child, so basically we weren't spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother believed that if you had something to do, you would not get in trouble. So there was always some work to do, and there were always some retributions when we didn't do what we were supposed to.
He'd open a can of whoop ass.
A very big can of whoop ass. Look, my father was old school. He had a garden, which was about 5 miles away from my house.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 3 acres.
Holy cow, that's a garden.
Yeah, he loved that garden, but, he didn't have a mule, so he bought one of these tillers with the big wheel on it that you pushed. And, I credit that a lot to the strength and endurance that we developed at an early age, because it's hard not to be strong if you treat it like a mule for the better part of your life.
So, Payton, your brother and you developed your elusiveness basically trying to avoid your father's hand.
Well,
the switch.
Yeah, basically. Back in the day, it was kind of unusual that, my father, he wanted you to understand why you were getting punished and let you decide which switch that he would use. He'd send you out and say, go get me a switch. You knew what was happening, and you knew if you brought him a switch that was deficient in strength, that once it broke, he was going to be PO'd because it broke and send you to get another one. And it's a terrible feeling to get an almost butt whipping to go get a switch to get a full butt whipping.
Get a full butt whipping. Eddie, I think today a lot is lacking in the parenting of our kids today in America. I'll never forget, my father was a great role model for me and still is, to this day, that whenever there was punishment to be made, whether it was me, my brothers, or my sister, that he always sat us down and told us why we were going to get a little spanking. And you suck it up, you bend over, you grab your ankles, and once it's over, it's over. But it's just that's the way we grew up. That was our era. I mean, boy, today these kids would be suing their parents in court.
Well, it's a shame that we've gotten to the point where the development of our kids at that early age is not as important to parents as being lacked of being a friend to a child that they have the responsibility to direct in the right way that will make him a more productive citizen in today's society. I mean, you have kids raising kids, true enough, but if those kids were brought up in the right way, then they'd bring those kids up in the right way.
Absolutely.
Whether single parent, double parent, or grandmother. I mean, we still have to teach them, and whether they like us or not, for the harsh treatment that they have to get sometime, when they get to be adults, they will look back and understand why it was done and why it had to be done that way.
Eddie, did you ever dream that your brother would become the huge success he was in the NFL?
I thought he'd be a pretty good football player, seeing that he was only the second best athlete in our family.
I love it.
Your mom was the best, probably.
Well, yeah, my sister was ahead of him, so that would make him third. But, when he came to Jackson, we were roommates, and, we did a lot of talking about what was going on, how we were being treated, and the people we played with. And we knew, at least I knew, that he had the fundamentals down that would make him a great athlete. Now, after you take the fundamentals, the rest is up to you. If the fundamentals get you to the NFL, how great you become depends on the desire you have not to be good, but to do things others have never done. And I think that's what pushed him throughout his career, and also pushed me.
Yeah. The money aspect of it never, guys get paid. They get paid well today. And it seems like when they do get that big contract, their performance on the field falls off tremendously. You never saw that with Walter. Walter was probably making some of the top money in the NFL when he played, but Gonnie, he just worked his butt off.
Yeah.
Worked his butt off every day.
Well, I tell people this story about Walter, and, he told me this when I got in the league, and it sticks with me and it resonates every day. He would prepare and play for the guy who's worked all week at a 9 to 5, saves his money, bought 4 tickets for he, his wife, and his 2 kids in the nosebleed section. pay for parking and cold beer and pretzels for the kids. And he could only do it one time in a year. And he played for that guy who did it one time in a year, so he would say he and his kids saw Walter Payton from the top of the bleachers at his very best. He felt that he owed it to the fans to perform.
Well said. Well said.
Today's players don't do it. It's all about me, me, me. What am I going to Twitter? What am I going to put on my Facebook? Walter, it was not about him. It was all for the fans and the kids.
Yep.
Like we said, he never turned down a kid for an autograph.
Never. Well, you know, Walter always appreciated the fact that he was part of the greatest game in the world. And it seems like today's athletes think that they are the greatest game in the world. It's not being a part of a team and doing what I can to make this team successful. It seems more like it's do something, take your helmet off, beat yourself on the chest so that you can get somebody who will notice you and, you know, give you an endorsement for doing what you're paid to do. I do not understand it.
Bob Avellini said, I said, whose huddle was it? He said, it was my huddle. I was the quarterback. And Walter could have told Avellini, I'm the star. It's my team. You're going to listen to me. But, again, he was a team player.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's what's lost. You know, it's an old cliche. There is no I in team, but there is an I in win. And these guys have forgotten that. They think the I in win is them.
Yeah. Well said.
Man.
I doubt if most of the guys who played in the 70s and 80s would be able to function in a locker room with some of the jabronis I see that are trotting out there at millions of dollars a year and doing the antics they did do. It's just, to me, it's disrespecting the game. And, again, I'm out of the game, so who cares what I say? But as a spectator now and a fan, I have problems understanding and appreciating somebody having to glorify what he does, what he's getting paid an enormous amount of money for being a clown.
Mm-hmm. If the Bears do not put that statue in front of Soldier Field and make the announcement on Sunday, I am going to be really upset at this organization.
Well,
come on, Eddie, let go.
Is it the Park District, or is it Soldier Field, or is it the Bears organization?
I don't think it's the Bears organization. I think it's the
Park District.
Well, the Soldiers Field is a monument for the people who gave their lives a supreme sacrifice in service of this country and the military. Mm-hmm. It's a military monument. Mm-hmm. And not that Walter didn't support the military, but he never served. And if they feel that they want to keep it as a military monument for those fallen soldiers, so be it. There are a lot of other places, including Walter Payton High School, that they could put that statue where people could come by and see it and still get the same bang for their buck. I really don't see what the commotion is about. It's not like Michael Jordan and Ernie Banks and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. And they own those arenas. They can do what they want, but this one is owned and is a monument for people who've paid the ultimate sacrifice. And I think if Walter was here, he'd say, okay, fine, if you don't want me there, then where else can I go?
But they put George Halas inside the stadium, his statue. I mean, I know he served some in the military, but he was no great military hero.
Yeah, but he served.
Yeah. And he's the father of the NFL.
Well, more so than that, he served his country and put his life on the line in service for those of us who are here now. Not that, I don't think Walter's statue shouldn't be there, but if not, I can understand the rationale for not wanting it there. And if they decide in their infinite wisdom, okay, let's do this, then I don't think anybody would, any soldier would be upset that they made that decision.
I was trying to think back, Eddie, how many times did you and Walter play against one another when you were either with the Vikings or the Detroit Lions?
Unfortunately, twice a year.
Okay, that's right.
But of course, now when I was playing, the Bears weren't very good. And,
come on now.
And we look forward to playing them. Matter of fact, I look forward to being Walter all week in practice. I mean, we had a good time, and we knew we were going to win the game, so it wasn't that big a deal.
Who was faster, you or Walter in your prime?
I'm not only in my prime, in my infancy, first thing out of the womb.
Big brother. Big brother
was it. It didn't matter. Walter had a first step, but his second step was on the tidy side.
I'll tell you one thing you could beat your brother at all the time was golf. He could not play golf.
Oh, you're talking about frustrated. He had more sets of clubs and more gadgets.
It's the equipment. It's got to be the problem. It's the equipment.
You can't be me. I'm Walter. I said, well, look, give me those defective Wilson and that bag there that ain't working either.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get rid of it for you. But, he enjoyed it. And, he was like most Americans. I mean, he loved the game, and he pursued excellence and never found it.
Great. Hey, I want you to hang on here for a couple seconds more. I'm going to try to get on Steve McMichael's. Mongo agreed to come on and say a few words. I know he'd like to say hi to you, Eddie.
Oh, yeah, Steve. Steve is one of Walter's biggest fans, one of his truest friends.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of reasons that the young audience on the radio should not be made aware of. But he has everything we've asked him to do in conjunction with the Payton Scholarship, the Payton School, and the relief fund for Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah,
he stepped up to the plate and not only done it, he's led the fight. So, I'll wait forever for Steve. He's my kind of guy.
Fantastic. Hey, I guess
we got Mongo on
We
the
got
line.
lucky. Mongo is up before noon. Terrific.
What do you mean you got lucky? I've been up since 8 o'clock. I've been babysitting.
Babysitting. How's that baby daughter of yours doing?
Yeah. Huh?
How's that baby daughter doing?
She's great, man. She's great.
Fantastic.
I was Mr. Mom this afternoon. Let the wife go run some errands.
Well, we got Eddie on the line here, and of course, you guys know one another very well. And
my man.
Steve, you the guy.
No, you're the guy.
Now, hey, how's the baby doing?
She's great.
How's the mama doing?
She got back and brought the baby some Dora the Explorer books. Now that's what she's into, boy. D.
There you go.
What about Handy Manny?
Handy? No, she don't know about Handy Manny.
Well, I'm just glad she's born when she's born because I do not eat green eggs, and Spam almost ruined me. Cause, I've never seen a green egg.
At any time of the day, I've got 2 TVs and a computer in the living room. Well, I've got a Dora the Explorer on the video. I've got Dora the Explorer on Nickelodeon on TV, and then I've got Dora the Explorer on the computer.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
You're going to realize after a year or so that good Texas education you got, you could have got it from Dora the Explorer.
That is true.
Yeah, how about it?
I could have gone to Jackson State and smartened up enough to do that, brother.
Hey, don't put Jackson State down. Jackson State provided me and Walter with the finest 8-year undergraduate degree that you could get.
Look here,
They bought the best athletes money can buy.
You know me good enough to know, Eddie, don't you ever heckle a comic.
Hey, Stevie.
Yeah.
When I graduated from here, they have magna cum laude and cum laude. You know what I graduated?
What?
Lord have mercy.
Have mercy.
Now, wait a second here. Texas turned out Cedric Benson, so let's not say Texas is a great institution.
Well,
it is an institution.
You know what?
Team Farm, Boy Scouts.
They just wanted to go somewhere where they're loved like they were at UT. I mean, look at what Ricky Williams is doing in Miami and what Cedric is doing in Cincinnati now.
Well, they were just misunderstood.
Yeah, they need to spread the love around up there at Hallis Hall a little more is what I'm saying.
Isn't it amazing? That
Stevie.
Yeah.
Stevie,
Yes,
do you think you could have played with the athletes of the day?
Oh, my God, Eddie. You know the trouble there would have been in the locker room.
You'd have whipped everybody's butt that was in there.
The press wouldn't have to do it the next day after the game. I'd have been doing it all week in the locker room during practice.
Yep.
Steve David Spada here, real quick. If you had Tommy Harris on your team, what would you or Walter have done to Tommy with not practicing and not showing up for games?
Well, what is that? Tommy's a player.
Yep.
Don't get that wrong, baby. I mean, he's been all pro, and he knows how to play the game. So the underlining meaning is he's not sitting on his ass. His knee is hurting.
Okay.
And in other words, we've probably seen the best out of Tommy if it's hurting that bad.
Hey, Steve.
Now, he might be able to hang on for a year or two like I did in Green Bay. But, let's get it right, boys. Don't question, him about he wants to play. This is about an injury that not too many people on the face of this earth could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cut the cord.
I did it, but you know I'm one of a kind.
Yeah. Hey, when they came up with you, they put the mole away.
Oh, the same. They did the same with your brother, baby.
Did.
Good Lord.
Steve, what's your favorite memory of Walter?
You know, when I first came to town, I was a reject from New England. I just come here to replace a defensive tackle they put on IR named Brad Shear. So everybody looked at me like I was just going to be a replacement for that year, except for Walter. He opened his arms up and welcomed me to the team. And you know what? The way I went in practice is kind of legendary, because I was going to go full speed, so I know the speed of the game on Sunday and what will work. Walter loved that because that's how he practiced.
Good point. Very good point. I mean, all these walkthroughs that that the players seem to do.
Brother-in-law, Robin.
Yep.
That don't teach you nothing but how to brother-in-law.
Yeah, and then you see those just foam little pads that they do through most of the practices in training camp. I mean, training camp's like a circus.
Eddie, do you see these kids running around on the football in the NFL games? They don't have any pads in their pants.
I don't understand that. You know, if you don't have pads, it's real safe to assume that you're not going to hit anybody because you're exposed in those areas that might get hurt. And the only thing that form tackling teaches you is how to roll over when somebody runs over your ass.
That's right.
Look, anybody that drove his legs like your brother, you got to take them on in the legs.
Yep.
That's right.
Steve, how would you stop Walter?
They're going to concussion you right out of the way.
Steve, when you went against Walter, how would you stop him when he was coming through the line?
What are you talking about? We never hit the franchise, baby. And, rookies would be coming in trying to make their mark, and they'd hit Walter. I would jump their ass.
Hey, let's go.
What the hell are you doing?
Let's go back.
This is the guy that keeps us off the field, son.
Yeah, Steve, you brought up a very good point there. Is that what is with these pro NFL guys? And you look at their uniforms. You're right. The receivers, the defensive backs don't even have knee pads or thigh pads.
Yeah. You know what? You know what it's about, Robin? They want to get rid of the weight on their body so they'll be as fast as they can. And they really don't care if they get hurt or not, because they'll just take some time off until they're 100% again and come back out and make a play. And they think that is enough to substantiate their contract or who they are.
Yeah. You take one
it ain't
shot.
About playing time or how many games you played in a row anymore, brother.
Yeah, that's true. A helmet, a good tackle, good form tackle, low and hit a thigh at full speed with no pad.
Oh.
That guy's out for 6 weeks.
Yeah, you got a deep hematoma on your thigh bone that leaves a calcium deposit.
That's right.
For the rest of your life.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
got one.
I was a fullback.
I got one too.
Yeah, as a fullback, I'd be crazy not to have my thigh pads on.
Well, I'm talking about these defensive linemen especially.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff happens around your legs all the time, baby.
Yeah.
But Stevie, they've refined the game to where you really can't hit each other anymore.
I know they don't cut each other no more, and they don't head slap, and it's all brother-in-law now.
If it wasn't politically correct, I'd tell you who they got this game set up for, but I'm not going to get into that.
No, Larry Johnson got in trouble for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
For God's sakes, let's stay politically correct.
Of course.
This is the Barely Legal Show. We can do what we want.
Yeah, well,
hey, I got an attorney here.
Whoa. Mitch Rosen warned us. He'll yank us off the air.
That's right.
Mitch Rosen, love him. Love him.
Right.
He gave me my first job here in town on ESPN radio when I came back off the wrestling road.
And now you're back with the Score.
And now I'm doing Saturdays, the college games. We give a flat screen away at one of the college bars. You know they have these bars in town where all the alumni from that college go to?
Yes.
Last week it was the O'Malley's, and it was all the Michigan State alumni.
Did you have fun?
That had to be like a wait, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It was quiet till last week.
Yeah. Boy.
I'll tell you what, Walt.
I just tell them when they tell me what college team they're a fan of and the history of that college football isn't very good, I say my condolences.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Steve, a former Texas guy who idolized Walter, we had on the show about a month ago, Earl Campbell. Earl goes, his prized possession is a picture of him and Walter walking off the field because he loved Walter, and he only wishes that he could get that thing signed.
Well, look here, you know what? All you got to do is talk to the greatest athletes that's ever played, and the guys that it's their pride to be around. You better believe that guy's the goods.
Absolutely.
Hey, tell Earl if he keep it and lives to be 100 and he goes to the great beyond, take it with him and get it signed.
Listen, baby, Big E's doing a lot better. A couple of weeks ago when they honored me down there before the game at UT.
Congratulations, too.
What did they honor you for?
I did an autograph signing with him at the University Co-op.
Oh, great.
And he drove in his own car. He's walking on a walker now, but he's doing better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that guy was a football player that took no prisoners and didn't know what the sidelines were.
He fit right in there with your brother, Eddie.
We used to say in the locker room, Texas, give the ball to King Kong and line up for the extra point.
I like
automatic.
That. Hey, Mongo, I had first hand of that. We played Texas twice when I was at Washington. Man, I tell you.
Yeah.
He was a load.
You were at Washington when Campbell was in school?
Yeah, we played back-to-back his freshman and sophomore year.
You have my deepest sympathies.
There you go.
I met that linebacker from the Rams, Isaiah Robertson, who was an All-Pro until Earl hit him in the chest. And I said, did Earl ever call you and apologize to you for that? He said no.
Yep. Jeez. Hey, Mongo, sounds like you've got a little bit of kids in the background there. How many you got over? How many you got over there?
Did you hear her screaming?
We heard the Dora the Explorer.
Guys, if Revelation said the Antichrist was a female, I'd shave her head and look for 666.
But Steve,
hey guys, I'm gonna have to boat out of here. I got my golf team is in here.
Oh Lord!
And I got to put my foot squarely where it's gonna do the best good. Steve.
Yeah, baby.
Kiss the wife and the baby for me.
I will, Eddie.
And you know you my guy.
Love you, baby.
Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you for having me on the radio show.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks.
And I appreciate what you guys are doing in Walter's honor this week.
I'll see you when you get in town. All right, buddy. Okay. All right.
Mongo, just think, in a couple years you're not going to be watching Dora anymore. I got a 6'5" and a 3-year-old. I'm watching Hannah Montana every night.
Oh, boy.
Hannah Montana.
I'm watching that myself.
Oh, Lord. And I just love that music, too.
Yeah. Don't you see exactly what you could look forward to?
I love Pop-Tart music. Oh, boy.
Hey, Mongo, before we let you go, any last any words, comment about Walter?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a problem with them saying, Walter Payton's statue doesn't belong outside of Soldier Field.
Yep.
You know what the problem I have with it? They should, I don't know if they have, I've had one over at the Walter Payton High School. There should be a few statues of Walter Payton around this town, brother.
Absolutely.
Not just one.
I agree.
You understand?
Richard Daley better get off his chair and get that statue and get it done Sunday on the anniversary of his death, the 10th anniversary, because his political ratings or whatever, they're in the toilet, and that'll spring it back to the top.
I don't know why any soldier that's ever been would have a problem with Walter Payton's statue being where they're honored, because out of everybody I've known playing professional football, that man was a warrior.
Absolutely.
The best there was. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're talking about, real combat or being a warrior on the football field. That's still the same brotherhood. You better believe it.
He gave us all, and that line did not do a lot for him. He did it on his own a lot of times.
They were dock workers, for God's sake. God. I went through them in practice.
And I know he rushed for 275 yards back in '77, but the fullback wasn't that good either, from what I hear.
Oh,
Let me tell you, brother.
You know what? He's about ready to go out the door.
Listen, when I came here, and Hampton started reaving with me in practice on those guys, it was only a year or two later, it was a whole new offensive line.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's when the 83 season, Colvert and Bortz and Hilge and
Thayer came soon after.
Thayer came in at 83 after the USFL. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, great guys, though, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are great guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Albrecht and Reevy, God bless him, and Dan Neal, the center. Buddha.
Dennis Lick.
You know, Dennis Lick, all great guys, man. Love hanging out with them, you know.
Jigs?
Great. They're great guys. Love them. But, you know.
Well,
we got a quarterback coming on the line who had that line in the late 70s that didn't do much, Bobby Douglas.
How you doing, Bobby?
Oh, Bobby.
What a great introduction.
Bobby. Let me tell you what.
I would concur that the offensive line I had, which I only had the guys that you guys just mentioned. Although Reevy became a pretty good player, as Noah was okay. You guys didn't see an offensive line quite like the one I had before them.
Boy.
Although that offensive line's the one that got me out of there, so, you know.
Yeah.
Steve, you better go watch Dora, because those kids are going to tear apart the house.
Bobby, they should have said, this line of yours cannot pass block, so we're just going to run the Wildcat.
We'll run the Wildcat.
Yeah, and you could have been Tim Tebow and won the Heisman.
Yes, I think...
that's who that kid reminds me of down there in Florida, is you, Bobby.
Yeah, well, I throw a little better than he does.
Well, you're both left-handed.
I certainly have more touch than he has, but no, he'll be a good quarterback in the NFL. I really think he can play.
Yeah, I'm talking about looking, you know, a stud.
Yeah, he's
big, strong, strapping, fast guy.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Give out some punishment. That's you.
He's physical. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be somewhat physically endowed to do that. Obviously, I couldn't have played with the Bears for that long with the people we had. We were kind of.
You know what? How long you played kind of fades in time, but the plays you make don't.
That's right.
Well, that's true. You know, that's a good point. That's a very good point. That's why we remember a lot about Walter.
Oh yeah.
But I think I heard part of that before that Mongo was talking about. I mean, Walter Payton. I played with, I don't know, 3 or 4 Hall of Fame running backs. I played with Gale Sayers, and John Riggins, O.J., although O.J. I just played with in small star games, and a couple other guys. And Walter Payton walked on a football field. He completely separates himself from any of those guys. Not because Gale wasn't a superstar running back. Gale didn't get the chance to play as long as Walter. But Walter played every play. Like no running back.
Missed one game for 13 years at running back. Come on.
But Walter was humble.
Hero.
Walter was humble. He would not tell you how great he was, unlike Gale.
Well, you know what? You know the difference between Walter on the football field and any other running back, just like the guys he mentioned? Those guys run away. Walter said, bring it on.
Bring it on, baby.
Absolutely.
Bring it on.
I played in the first game. You talk about Walter playing with a few offensive lines. That first line was one that, of course, was reconstructed several times. But Walter, Walter would get up after a loss. He would get up after a 15-yard run. He was back in the huddle. You looked at him and you knew he wanted to play. He wanted the ball again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You see guys today that, after 2 or 3 runs, they're walking off the field. And I'm not saying today. I'm talking about even back when Walter played, you had guys like that.
Yeah. I brought this up to a kid last night. I was at a Gridiron Greats event at the coach's restaurant trying to get some back. And this guy's kid was a swimmer. He wasn't even a football player. And I related it to him like this. In any sport, that Phelps just won 8 gold medals. Do you think he got tired in those Olympics? No, he was not tired at any time swimming and getting those 8 gold medals. Where he gets tired and where he wears himself out is in practice and preparing for it.
Yeah.
And the off season getting ready to do it.
Good point.
That's where you win.
Absolutely.
Not after training camp starts and you're going to get in shape then. Walter's legendary for running up that hill in the off season and his training regimen. He'd make people throw up trying to train with him.
No question about that.
And this is what I was telling that kid. You know what? You train that hard, the games are easy. Because
that's a good point.
In the fourth quarter, when you're fresh as a daisy, and you look across the line of scrimmage, and those guys got their hands on their knees, huffing and puffing, who's gonna win that?
Is that how you trained the Slaughter when you were coaching them last year?
I told them they better be in shape. or I will run you.
And again, congratulations, Steve, on that great Slaughter championship, man. That was fantastic.
14-0. First time in my football career undefeated.
Undefeated.
Nice work.
Terrific. Hey, Steve, we're going to let you go here.
Yes, indeed.
And I want you to get back taking care of that baby.
Yeah. She doesn't get her attention back.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on.
Listen, Mongo, good
guys.
Yeah.
talking with you.
My pleasure.
I hope to come out, what is that, a Saturday or Sunday that you have your place that you advertise on TV there?
He's at Blackjack's every Monday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby, stay on for a couple seconds yet. Okay,
right.
and we're going to let Steve go. And, hey, Steve, love you, brother.
Boys.
Love
My
you, brother.
pleasure.
All right,
Thanks for coming on. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Wow. Whew.
It's getting hot in here.
I thought maybe he had a nursery school going there a little bit in the background.
Gotta love the kids.
You know what?
Though.
You gotta love them, though. I mean, you talk about this rough, tough football player, pro wrestler.
Yeah.
But he's a teddy bear down deep. You know?
And the kids are running the house.
Yeah.
The kids are running the house. Hey, how you feeling, Bobby, these days?
I feel great. I'm in the best shape I've been in 15, 20 years, probably.
I know we met about a week ago at Starbucks there in Bannockburn. You look good, man. Your weight looks good. I know you had a little bout there with a little sickness there, which seems like
I had cancer, of course, and lost about 70 pounds, which is a lot of weight. I was weighing about 255 or so, and got way under 200. And when you get to that point, your body just it's different. It changes everything, and so you have to just gain weight and get back. And luckily, they got my cancer, and I'm in great shape.
Yeah,
good for you.
Great news. You know, I know we've known each other a long time and done a little business together and so forth. And stay healthy, man. I want to see you around the next 15, 20 for sure.
Well, I plan to. I work out a lot, do a lot of jogging. I'm pretty good. I'm in great shape. I think that's a big part of it. I hate to see it these days, but some people, they get up there in age a little bit, and they don't realize they've got to exercise.
Got to exercise. Got to break that sweat every day.
Sure, it's really important.
Bobby, how long did you play with Walter? How many years?
I just played a year with Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So you played with him his rookie year?
His rookie year is when Walter only had about 650 yards that year.
Yeah.
Why did he only get? What was the reason for that?
Well, it was just didn't have a good team.
Yeah.
You can't. Nobody. I mean, in this league is a one-man team. There's some great players out there, and obviously Walter's one of the greatest to ever played the game. Not only for what he did, but as a physical specimen, he was right up there with the best of them that I've seen. And he was a Jim Brown of his era. Jim Brown was physically, unbelievable, and Walter could do things and did them for longer than anybody. I think his record was broken, but it was broken by a guy who played with teams that were
one of the best offensive lines ever to line up. That's right, with the Dallas Cowboys.
Avellini,
that's what I'm saying. In this game today, I mean, it's a team game. This is not it's not a one-man game. You've got to play with good players, and that's how you win with a team. You don't win with 3 or 4 guys.
Avellini said, I mean, no matter what anybody says, that no one knew who Walter was when he came to the Bears.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, he was drafted pretty high. I think nobody understood quite how good he was. Obviously, he was drafted. What was he, 5th or 6th player drafted? So
I think the 4th pick player taken overall.
So he was known from the standpoint of his physical prowess, but I don't think anybody, of course, nobody would ever say, "Well, you're going to be the greatest rusher in the history of the game."
True.
And I don't think you ever know that about any player. I mean, certainly you can look at some guys and say they're going to be successful, but not the way he was.
He was drafted number 3 in the draft in 75. Jordan was drafted number 3 in 84. And the 2 teams that drafted people ahead of Payton, they should be basically have their heads examined because they could have had the greatest running back in the NFL.
Number 4.
Number
you can
4.
say that a lot of years, of course, but it's an inexact science, drafting people. I don't criticize everybody. I mean, if you do it consistently, you're in trouble. Of course, you shouldn't be doing it. But we've had our share of first-round draft choices, but we seem to get pretty good second, third, fourth round.
Well, you know what? We've got a guy on the line that down the line a ways. Thank God we got him, and that's Jim Morrissey. How you doing, Jim?
How's everybody doing? I'm doing great. Thanks.
Hey, what you were? What 11th round?
11th round, number 302. 302.
302. Wow.
Snuck in there.
And you know what? That just goes to show that, no matter where you get drafted, all the hype and the crap that you get coming out of college, guy like you gets in there in the 11th round, works his butt off, and ends up playing 9 years in the bigs. I mean,
yeah, we had a lot of guys on, not a lot, but Sean Gale was a 10th rounder. Tom Zek was a free agent.
Bortz.
Kenny Taylor was a free agent. Yeah, Bortz was 8th round.
Yep.
Richard Dent was 8th round.
Yep.
Thomas Sanders was 9th round. So we had a lot of those special teams players we had on that 85 team were.
I think the Bears were just trying to fool everybody back then. They were just drafted their good players late. Maybe figuring they wouldn't have to pay them as much. They really knew how good they were, but
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, we've had about a good 10 former teammates on the show the last couple hours. Thanks for coming on, and of course you're easy to find. You're one of my neighbors. But anyway,
tracked me down.
Yeah, tracked you down. But you came in 1985. Of course, that was the dream year, the '85 Super Bowl and the shuffle and all that. What was one of the first encounters that you had with Walter Payton?
As growing up in Michigan, I had grown up watching Walter, play for like 5-6 years before I got to the Bears. So I was in awe, actually. I mean, I couldn't believe I was on the same team as Walter Payton. First year I was, I definitely, only if he approached me would I talk to him. I don't want to approach him and kind of, step over any lines that I thought I might be stepping over. But he was always a great teammate, always a great leader for the teams that we played on together. I think I played 4 years with Walter, but what I remember about Walter was his leadership. I mean, it wasn't really a rah-rah leadership, but he led by example, and I think that's the greatest leader you can possibly have, is someone who goes out there and works as hard or harder than anybody else, and he's the best player in the whole league. So that's what I took for Walter. And also you see some times when Walter got the team together and did the head thing and the hands back and forth and the rally the team before the game. I just truly got so fired up for that. If you see some of those photos or tapes from those times, I was always right in front of Walter trying to get jacked up for the game. So I really enjoyed that.
Well, this game is, it's an emotional game. It's something that the Bears didn't show on Sunday against the Bengals, huh, guys? Wow. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Bears. We've got about 6 minutes here. What do you see going on here? I know we're 3-3, and everyone's kind of jumping on a train wreck here, but in the very beginning, I had them winning 10, 11 games. You think we can still win double digits?
I guess I'm the minority here in thinking that they can turn it around. I just think Sunday's game was, and I agree with the coaching staff, just get rid of it, flush it out, move forward.
We've all had them. We've all had them.
Right. And what happened was, in my opinion, is that they all just had a bad day together. Sometimes, maybe an offensive lineman will have a bad day, and the quarterback plays great, and you picks your team up. But I just think they all had a bad day, and that's why we lost the way we lost. And but it's not to say that we're not a good football team, and we beat a pretty darn good team in Pittsburgh, and we beat, and Cincinnati's a good team.
They are.
They've only lost 2, and they should have only lost 1 if it wasn't for that one pass in Denver. But they're a very good team, and they were clicking, and we were not. But I'm still excited about this team. I think we can turn it around and have a productive year.
I'm thinking back myself too. My rookie year, the worst butt whooping I ever took was 49-0 against the Houston Oilers with Pastorini and Billy White Shoes Johnson and all that. And we were 3-5 at the time. We come back to Chicago, the media totally wrote us off. So these guys are bad. Then all of a sudden we rip 6 in a row.
Right.
6 in a row, and we make the playoffs in a wild card spot. We got a little lucky, but we played hard, and then boom, you're in the playoffs and all forgiven.
Absolutely.
You got some good players on that team. I wouldn't count them out just yet.
Jim, getting back to Walter, I know he retired after 87. Did he want to retire, or could he have played a couple more years?
That's a good question. I don't know if I'm sure he definitely could have played. I think he could have played. I mean, if you remember, we had Neil Anderson at that time, and he really just came on. I mean, what a steal he was, talking about draft pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was number 28 or 29 that year, and we got him in the 86 draft, and he was a tremendous, tremendous player. So I don't know if it was anything like the Bears, said you have to retire. I think it was definitely his decision. But yeah, he could have still played. I mean, it would have been a good tandem with Neil Anderson in his prime at that point, with Walter coming in and maybe spelling Neil for some time. But I think at that point Neil was a better player. But there's no question Walter should have or could have still would have been productive.
Yeah. And now your son's playing.
There you go.
Yeah.
I saw him play Notre Dame.
Boston College. He was on TV. Saw him make some plays against Notre Dame. They should have won that game. I'm not a Notre Dame fan myself personally, but I was rooting for BC Eagles all the way.
Well, they had the turnover margin was 5-0, so it's hard to overcome.
Yeah, and you've got another son there, Matthew, is in 8th grade. He's a quarterback coming up the ranks.
Yeah, we got an offensive player now, Robin. I got to send him down the street to have him have you coach him up.
Yeah, exactly. With Preston and Kevin, that'll work out perfect, Jimmy. That Kevin will be a senior next year.
I know.
He'll be a 9th grader.
Right.
And he'll be able to step in as a sophomore and start for the Patriots when Kevin leaves.
And maybe they'll bring a coach in there who actually knows how to pass the ball.
There you go.
You gotta talk Matt into playing quarterback again. I don't know if he.
Yeah.
I think he wants to play defense. So, but
does he? Like
really
the old man, huh?
Yeah, he's really enjoyed it. He's done a great job. The coaches up there they've done a terrific job. So he's enjoyed it.
Hey guys, we're up against the clock here. We got to roll. Hey, thanks Bobby Douglas. Thanks Jim Morrissey for coming on and saying a few words. This was our first annual Barely Legal show, 10th anniversary of the passing of Walter Payton. So we've had just an absolute wonderful time today. We want to thank our guests, of course, with Jarrett Payton, Dan Neal, Coach Johnny Roland, Bruce Herron, Eddie Payton, Steve McMichael, Bobby Douglas, and Jim Morrissey.
And Bob Avellini.
What a heck of a day today.
Absolutely.
And, of course, Andy, thanks for sitting in studio.
Thanks for having me.
And I am tired. That's 2 long hours, my friends. And, hey, we'll be back next week. The Barely Legal Show. Stay tuned.